Hi. So I'm on a bit of a roll. I'm going to do 2 videos tonight. The first one I just finished is the overview of the Major Arcana. Now I'm going to do a review of the full first card in the Major Arcana. There he is there. So I'm going to hold that up while I read the book, because it actually goes into a really cool description of the card. When I first got this deck, like I said in the last video, about 20 years ago, I used to just skim over the description of the card and I'd be like, I don't have time for this, just give me the meaning, I want to know what's going on, tell me what's going on. Now, as I've matured, and I'm actually much more curious to learn about the cards. I've been much more interested in understanding the symbolism and, you know, what is actually in the card. And like, even now while I'm sitting here looking at it in the screen, I can see there's a bird perched up in a tree that's got no leaves. He's got some leaves in a wreath on his head. And again, I'm calling him a he, but could be a she, could be a they. It's going to be anyone who the card is meant for. He's like coming out of a cave into a pretty barren land, but he looks pretty happy. He's dancing. He could almost even be waving to someone. But, you know, that's the kind of thing that you really need to start doing when you're looking at the cards, if you want to really deepen your understanding of them, because I certainly haven't, and I'm learning about it now. Nothing wrong with learning about it now. Better late than never. Okay, so the card of the Fool, the first of the Major Arcana, portrays a wild youth. Oh yeah, he is pretty wild, isn't he, with his fur leathers on? Dressed in ragged animal skins of different colors, dancing in ecstatic abandonment at the edge of the precipice. He wears a wreath of vine leaves in his chestnut hair and bears little horns like those of a goat on his brow. Oh yeah? Okay. His eyes are raised to the dawn breaking in the distance, where the sun can just be seen above the horizon. Okay. I guess that must be it breaking. Yeah, it is. It's hard to see. The camera doesn't focus very well. Not that technologically advanced yet with my YouTube videos. Sorry, viewers. Chestnut hair, bears little horns like those of a goat on his brow. His eyes are raised to the dawn breaking in the distance, where the sun can just be seen above the horizon. Sorry, I just read that. Around him lies a formidable barren landscape of brown and grey rocks. To his left, hidden in the shadows of the receding night, is the mouth of the cave from which he emerged. Above it, on a bare branch, perches an eagle. And then it explains that the eagle is the bird of Zeus, king of the gods, who watches over the fool as he prepares to plunge into the unknown. Oh, cool, okay. There you go, he's watching over him. The cave from which the fool emerges is the past, the dark and undifferentiated mass from which the beginning of a true sense of individuality is about to take form. The goat's horns on the fool's brow suggest, like the animal skins he wears, that he is like a young animal driven into life by instinct, not yet conscious or possessed of understanding. Yeah, right. Okay, so who knew? I'm going to put the card down because I'm getting a sore back. Right, so yeah, also in the Major Arcana explanation, it goes into detail about how it's like the journey of birth from the womb, right? So the cave could also be, it could represent being born. So the story goes, here we meet the hero of our journey in the guise of the mysterious god Dionysos, the twice born. Oh my god, this is going to be so much fun reading these names. He was the child of great Zeus, king of the gods, and Semele, Smelly, a mortal woman and a princess of Thebes. Zeus's wife Hera, furious at his infidelity, disguised herself as a nursemaid and whispered to Semele that she must test her lover's devotion by demanding that he appear before her in all his divine glory. I love how these stories are just like straight into it, like full scandal, right? Like there's always some crazy scandal, and the imagination of the person who writes these is like next level. Okay, so he demands that, so the wife is furious and she's dressed as a nurse. She whispers to Semele, who's the mother, a mortal woman. Oh my God, so this is where it gets confusing. Are you lost? I'm lost. He was the child of great Zeus, king of the gods, and Semele, a mortal woman and a princess of Thebes. Zeus's wife, Hera, right, so he had a wife, yet he's had a child, so Semele, Semele, however you think that may be pronounced. She must test her love's devotion by demanding that he appear before her in all his divine glory. All right. Having promised Semele anything her heart might desire, the god was bound by his vow when she insisted that he reveal his divinity to her. Reluctantly, he manifested as thunder and lightning, and Semele was consumed in flames. Holy moly, this stuff just goes wild. It puts like Negan to shame. But Zeus managed to rescue the unborn child. Right, okay, so there you go. These cards are often like a bit confusing. They assume you know stuff. So he's unborn. Hermes, messenger of the gods and patron of magic, sewed up the fetus in Zeus's thigh. Thus, Dionysos was born. That's how you get born. You get sewn up in a thigh. Hera continued to pursue the strange horned child and sent the Titans, the earth gods, to tear Dionysos to pieces. But Zeus rescued the child's heart, still beating. So he got torn apart. This heart he transformed into a potion of pomegranate seeds, and the magical drink was fed to the maiden Persephone by Hades, the dark god of the underworld, when he abducted her. So a lot going on there. Persephone became pregnant, and Dionysos was thus reborn in the underworld. Wow, it's like had two lives. Therefore, he was called Dionysos Iacchos, and that's spelled Iacchos. Dionysos, for the record, is capital Dionysos. So Dionysos Iacchos. The twice born, god of light and ecstasy. So that's what he was called. Dionysos Iacchos, the twice born of light and ecstasy, ordained by his father Zeus to live among men and share their suffering. He was stricken with madness by Hera and wandered all over the world, followed by wild satyrs, mad women and animals. He gave the gift of wine to mankind and brought drunken ecstasy and spiritual redemption to those who were willing to relinquish their attachment to worldly power and wealth. Eventually, his heavenly father Zeus bade him rise to Olympus, where he took his place at the right hand of the king of the gods. On an inner level, Dionysos, the fool, is an image of the mysterious impulse within us to leap into the unknown. The conservative, cautious, realistic side of us watches with horror this wild, youthful spirit who, trusting in heaven, is prepared to walk over the cliff's edge without a moment's hesitation. The madness of Dionysus seems mad only to that part of us which is bound to the world of form, facts, and logical order. So this is like about the you know, when you get like an idea to do something and you basically disregarding all the risks because you have literally just been born into the idea and you're like, I got this. I'm all over this. I am gonna nail it. And yeah, it's kind of careless in some ways. But of course, it's only mad to that part of us that's bound to all those things that hold us back. So like the fool is so cool in that sense because he's a risk taker and he embraces things. But in a more profound sense, it is not madness, for it is the impulse toward change which comes upon us out of the blue, which has no rational basis and no pre-planned program of action. The god is portrayed in animal skins because, in a way, this intuitive, irrational dimension to the human personality is a kind of sixth sense, an animal instinct which hears a music to which jaded ears used to concrete reality are not attuned. Dionysos is the son of the king of the gods, and it is his father's spirit to which he is in tune, although he is ordained to live on earth with mortals. But it is difficult to know when this impulse strikes us, whether it has come from Zeus's heavenly abode or a darker, more underworld place. Wow, yeah, because I guess, see, like, man, these cards are cool, because like how they worked that into the story. So yeah, of course, because okay, first of all, I didn't know that the fool was a god. They referred to him as a god. So and I guess it does start out by saying that in the very first sentence, but sometimes these things don't sink in, hence why I'm doing this video. The first sentence says, here we meet the hero of our journey in the guise of the mysterious god Dionysos, the twice-born. So it gives the clue at the start, right? But it's like, yeah, he's the son of the king of the gods. So, like, that's pretty high up. But then he also gets reborn through some unfortunate circumstances. And Hades, who's the dark god of the underworld, low battery, actually, yeah, like, or I've lost my space, but he was born again into the underworld. So, yeah, multifaceted, the fool. There you go. Oh, there's another page. Thus, Dionysos, the fool, represents the irrational impulse toward change and toward opening life's horizons into the unknown. The fool stands at the beginning of his journey, and when we are struck by the mysterious impulse which he represents, we too stand at the threshold of a journey. These irrational impulses can sometimes be destructive and sometimes creative, and often they are both together. The wild god can sometimes leap off the cliff's edge into painful and damaging situations, which may also yield wonderfully creative beginnings. And so can the individual who is overwhelmed by the strange, inexplicable craving inexplicable craving for some spiritual food which he or she cannot fully understand. But if we never respond to these calls from the other world, then we sink into drab, meaningless, banal lives and wonder at the end of life what we have missed and why the world seems so empty. Thus, the Fool is a highly ambivalent figure, for there is no guarantee at the beginning of such a journey whether we will arrive safely, if at all. Yet not to begin is to deny the God, which on an inner level means to deny all in us that is youthful, creative, and in touch with that which is greater than ourselves. God, see? I love it. On a divinatory level, Dionysus the Fool augurs the advent of a new chapter in life when he appears in a spread. A risk of some kind is required, a willingness to jump out into the unknown. The Fool is ambiguous, just as Dionysus is, for we cannot know whether we will enter the Fool's perception of the divine or end up merely looking foolish. In this way, amidst ambiguity and excitement and fear begins the great journey of life portrayed by the Major Arcana of the Tarot. So like it's where it says like when it appears in a spread, it augurs the advent of a new chapter in life. I find that interesting that it sort of stipulates that, if that's the right word, because when you do a spread, it's like maybe 10 cards and each card position represents a certain stage, say like could be past influences, which is a perfect example, because in that case it doesn't necessarily mean that the Fool in that position is the start of a new chapter in life. It might be that that's past or something like that. So that's where it's really important not to take the meanings too literally as well. I just think that is such a cool story, and I think we can all relate to that in so many ways, if you're a deep thinker like I am anyway. And if not, you probably haven't got this far anyway, and you're probably finding this really boring, me reading to you like you're in fucking school or something. But it's quite therapeutic for me, and yeah. Till the next card, the next one will be the Magician. Till then.